This is the Power of OZmosis podcast, powered by the Vidwheel Creator Network. Hey everyone, it's Johnny Osmosis on the Power of OZmosis video podcast, powered by Vidwheel Creator Network. I'm really excited today to be welcoming back a previous podcast feature alongside a few others of our good friends that was released not long ago. But this is of Alex Villafranca and Verde Golf, but of course, Arbeit software as well. A good friend, supporter, and idol of mine. Alex, welcome to the show, my brother.
Thanks so much. Appreciate having me as always. Last one was fun, so I'm sure this one will be too.
We'll have to make up for some lost dynamics since we don't have a one Nicky Martone and Stevie Barkowski, and we're not in person. But we'll still get juiced up here and get ready to rock and roll and unpack some really cool things, man. I'm excited.
Me too, for sure.
Let's do this thing. So welcome to the show. There's so much going on here. I'll just kind of hit a few things. I mean, we both have our Verde golf shirts on. Extra juicy for that. And to think it was, 13 or so months ago. I think we had connected before, but it wasn't ever really, it was more surface than it was deep. And so, maybe not quick, but a high level on you, your story, your passions, et cetera. And then we'll jump into how we kind of, I'll call it a reconnect of sorts in January 2020, talking about, talking about this very thing here, Verde Golf. So the floor is yours, my brother.
Sure. So, I guess I'm Alex Villafranca. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Arbeit Software and also founder of Verde Golf. Arbeit is communication software for businesses that allows them to efficiently and effectively communicate with their customers or consumers. That's something that I started 7 years ago. And it's going really good over there. I have an amazing team. And that's now there's Verde Golf, which is something that I love golf. I'm not very good at golf, but I love golf.
Oh, yeah,
right. Super passionate about it. And I've always wanted to, I don't know, when Arbeit, I had this desire as Arbeit started to go and become bigger and bigger, maybe to like create something new again. And so that, along with my, real like passion for golf, and then along with like my desire for fun golf polos, which I wasn't able to find, led me to want to start Verde and to launch it. It wasn't until after I already launched Verde Golf that I realized that there was maybe some more competitors that I'd never even heard of. But when I was first came up with the concept, I couldn't find any golf polos that I really liked to wear, just boring kind of polos. So I always wear like wild and bright socks. That was always my thing. People buy me socks all the time that are like weird. I have like so many little socks with like Santa on them and like, cactuses and watermelon and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, any watermelons? What's going on?
I do.
People think it's pizza. It's not pizza. It's a watermelon.
I know. People always think pizza. So
sure, if they want to think that, maybe they had a couple too many servings of swing oil out on the links.
I agree.
It's pizza. Let them live their life right now. But
for sure.
So you were saying, sorry, get juicy with that.
No, so that's it. That's why I love golf so much. I think you asked that, why I'm passionate about it. And for me, like, I don't know, golf is a sport that you can play from when you're a toddler until you're like 90 years old. And I think that's probably my favorite part about it. Like that concept, just that like thought behind it. I've played hockey my whole life, and you get to a certain point and you just can't play hockey anymore. Although that's another sport where a lot of people play pretty old, in rec leagues and stuff. But like for golf, you're still competitive even at that higher level. And even better, like there's plenty of people I've played with that are way, better than I am and are way older, like 80-year-olds. I have Uncle Joe. And then, I have a guy, Ren Giannetti, who's a PGA pro, and he's coached me a lot. And his dad has played with us before. And he's
I played
older.
with Ren. We won that tournament.
Yeah, you know Ren.
Joe, you and I.
So his dad's super good at golf, and just playing with someone like that is it's pretty cool. So like across, that's one of the reasons why I love golf, is that concept, right? When you're golfing with somebody, usually it's easy, like, you just have this bond, right? Like 15-year-old kid and a 90-year-old guy golfing together. Like, what do they have in common? Well, they have golf in common. That's, and then this polo, right? Like, you introduced me to the guys at PGA Hope and PGA and Steve and Nick. And this is why I really wanted to, be a part of that, is because it's a similar concept. Except now it's across not just age, but, gender and race, and it makes it, like service, right? Veterans, PGA Hope, like that's what that's for. But the PGA Reach charity, is across more than just veterans. So like getting involved with that was just a no-brainer, because it's the exact reason why I love golf.
That's a great segue too. Appreciate that insight, brother. And, as you're saying, sitting there organically, I'm thinking about Bad Golf Business School. And it was actually, so I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, this show here, that it was a lunch that we had. But now that I'm going further back, and again, organically here, it was actually at Bad Golf Business School, which has been talked about in other episodes at a very high level. Bad Golf Business School's mission is to break down the barriers of golf. It's to make it fun, and hence the name Bad Golf, right? You don't have to be good to join us. And by us, I mean the bad golfers, the members. It's a free group right now. We're actually working on rebooting it, just as a refresher for those who might be watching. Maybe you didn't see the other episode with Brian Jacobs. But anyway, a lot of what you're saying there, AV, is, you're talking community, you're talking that camaraderie that comes out of playing the game of golf. And it's ironic, because it was Bad Golf where you actually were wearing this, I don't know, some nifty Nike polo. And maybe you remember this too. I know you got a sharp memory. And I remember it was at Bobolinks down in Orchard Park. So it was like in the concept phase of Bad Golf. Thanks again to Clark Dever over at Techstars, who as well as Johnny Capel from Inisec. And so anyway, we were proving out the concept. I remember reconnecting with you there. Maybe that was really it. Maybe it was June or July 2019. And I remember you having the shirt, and you're like, I'm thinking about, what's new? How's Arbeit? I might be doing this golf thing. And I'm wearing these polos to test it out. So again, tying together the Bad Golf stuff, tying together community, passion, the camaraderie, what the game has afforded me as someone who's been playing for, 25 years, maybe, whatever it's been now. And I know you've been playing for it. And also, to correct the record, you are a good golfer. Mr. Humble over there. I've seen it live. We won tournaments together, man. I mean, we killed it. Everyone had involvement. Everyone played a role. Uncle Joe draining those bombs. I mean, the guy, those putts. I mean, again, Uncle Joe. And I'll let you take this. Maybe you mentioned the relationships you forge, and yeah, I mean, a guy like Ren and Uncle Joe, specifically Uncle Joe, because we played multiple tournaments together. I think he's a great. I was going to say, I love that man. I do. He's just good people. You're out there for 5-6 hours together, between the play and then also obviously the post round, activity. So anyway, just adding to what you're saying there, and having Uncle Joe now as a friend of mine, and some others that you brought into the fold. It's fantastic way to bring people together.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've met so many. Yeah, I have a ton of people that I have met playing golf, and then there's friendships that I have friends that I was not super close with, and then we started to golf together, and now those friendships have gotten better. So it's just, it's a nice time. Not only just, I mean, if there's certain people, like, I think there's some people who golf who don't treat it this way, but for me, it's like therapy. It's like, mental health. It helps with and that's, again, the PGA Hope, right? The biggest part of it is that mental health side of it for veterans. So for me, like, it's super good for that. Just getting out and enjoying the views, and like, of course, like, when you don't play your greatest, it's not maybe the best day for your mental health, but like at the end of the day, like, you're out there talking to and when you were talking to Brian Jacobs on your last show, this polo made an appearance twice now on your podcast, but he was talking about
three
really?
Times. Because I wore it. Sorry to interrupt you, man. I wore it with Brian Jacobs, right?
Yeah.
And then you wore it, or Nick Martone wore it first. That we had a quad. Quad.
Nick did.
So now so it's 3 times, and as it should be, because of what it represents. And I was going to say, maybe diving more into it. And for the audience, Hope is helping our patriots everywhere. Ironically, I just got a call from a vet today who, because of my presence online and the things that we've done, again, in tandem with you, Alex, my brother, I got vets now calling me saying, hey, I want to learn more. I want to get involved. And so I steer them over to Nikki Martone, PGA Hope National Ambassador. And again, REACH is the foundation over top of it that has 3 pillars of diversity, youth, and military. So back to that, unpacking that more so on the polo you're wearing. I know we talked about, but maybe how it came about. And that also ties in January 2020, our lunch at Cabaret, the former Cabaret, Miss Cabaret, they shut it down. But anyway, so that's a good segue there, how it all came about, the law of attraction, et cetera.
Yeah. So, well, we had lunch together, and I don't know how, I think Jack Greco maybe introduced us originally.
Sure.
And I had lunch with you.
Made sense. I had seen what you had been doing and loved what you were doing and coming from, tech myself. And then, Buffalo Open Coffee Club. Jack, at one of those open coffees was like, you guys should talk. And I think we had interacted, but it was, again, very surface. So it was nice to start to bring that together. So we met there and then continue. Sorry.
My memory's terrible. You said it was good, but it's actually terrible. So I forget, but so we met there. Yeah. We spoke about that and we had lunch. And then, and then after that, I think, well, obviously you kind of took to the concept of Verde, like it fits. I think anyone that, for me, a lot of people don't know Verde because it's a small company, but obviously like the idea of Verde in my head is crystal clear and like you embody it pretty well. So I just kind of obvious.
The energy, the centricity, the creativity.
Yeah. So you took to
also
it well.
The community.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. This will be a funny part of the podcast where it's like, you're talking, I'm the host. So, but yeah, I mean, it hits all of that. And it really does more and more now too. You're seeing trends in golf where it's becoming more non-traditional with the hoodies, which we should talk more about offline because that could be another product release once we sell through what we're wearing right now. But anyway, that's a
great idea.
Making a note there.
Yeah.
Let's go.
My cousin started a tie. My cousin does like tie-dye hoodies, and I thought about it would be perfect for it.
Right.
But I was gonna do a collab with her and have her do dyed hoodies for Verde. But anyways,
so you're already there. Let's do it.
So so we went golfing at Arrowhead during a tornado. Literal tornado. I remember I wasn't going to go that day because I actually got a tornado warning on my phone.
You called me like, dude, or you texted me like, I'm not sure I'm going to make this. Plus it was a long ride from Boston to Clarence.
It's like stay in your basement. And I was like, I don't know if I should drive. So then I said, all right, I'll just drive. I'll get ahead of the tornado.
You got an SUV. You got an SUV. You're fine.
So that's what I did. I went there and it was funny because it was sunny when I got to Clarence. And then it started downpouring, or no, it went away. Arrowhead. This
is law of attraction, by the way. Once again.
Yep. Arrowhead was like there was water hazards that weren't normally there.
That's golf for you, baby.
Me, you, and Nick and Greg.
A bunch of others. Shoemaker, G-Shoe.
Yep. And then that's when you got me talking to Nick about the PGA Hope program. Brought up his Team Fast Foundation. Right. And then being around Nick, it was just like I wanted him. I was just doing the photo shoot for Verde at that time, and
Marky Duggan, man.
So I asked. That's how we kind of got that going. Where I asked Nick to be in that shoot because of his energy was perfect for it. And then, and then you introduced me to Steve from the PGA. Steve Colton, but then Steve from
Barkowski,
PGA. Barkowski, yeah. So. And that's how that came about. And then we you connected us and Steve and I were, figured out how to do this. And that was awesome. So we made these custom polos for the PGA Hope. I think it's, people, they're out now for sale, I believe, at a lot of the country clubs that Steve's involved with around here.
And it'll heat up, one thing for the audience, it'll heat up in terms of sales. Glen Oak has had some good sales from it. The golf, I like to call the community golf hub of Western New York there, where PGA Reach Hope are out of, again, the other junior league and some of the other programs too there. But there's still plenty left for those that might be watching and are interested. I myself have been, people have contacted that I knew or didn't know and said, hey, I need to get some. So I've helped facilitate that. But The one thing I want to make sure I point out, and actually, speaking of the devil, I'm going to do this on air. Look who's calling right now.
Oh yeah.
You know what would be funny? Hold on. Steve, I'm on a podcast, baby, with Alex Villafranca. He says what's up, and we're literally recording. It's not technically live because we will release this after, but I had to pick it up because we were just talking about you, which is again law of attraction stuff, baby. So you're literally on air. Here, hold on. Say something to the audience.
Hey, what's going on? Hope you guys are not tuned in to John Osberg. No.
All right, we got to let you go. I'd love to keep you here on the phone here, but I'll buzz you back, brother, okay?
Yeah. No,
all right, Stevie.
We'll chat. Thanks, brother.
Talk soon, baby. Bye-bye. I had an opportunity there to make something really cool. I could throw this in the caption, right, that goes out on social media that like with the surprise cameo of Mr. Steve Colton of
his ears must have been ringing.
Literally again. And so I keep talking about this law of attraction thing, Alex, and sort of highlight that, right? So let's go back though really quick. We're all over a little bit. And where was I? I was saying, sales of the shirt are there. There will be online. I know coming here come springtime. Obviously it's cold. It's crazy out right now, whatever, in West New York, which is where this will be happening. But eventually the goal would be then to get this out nationally. And so I'll unpack something that's incredible that I know you probably wish I don't, talk about because you're so humble and just a great community leader, but leave that there for a second and go back January 2020. I remember you saying to me on our other podcast saying like, John and I were talking over lunch and he said this and that, and now look what's happening. So again, that's the law of attraction.
Yeah.
The floor is back to you. If you remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's just, this is a statement to like John Osmosis. And
I didn't mean to pump my tires. I apologize. This looks like I'm setting this up for you to do.
You are. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not trying to do it on purpose. I swear.
But no, it's, like I wouldn't have we opened Verde in June of 2020. And now we have custom polos that we made for the PGA, because of Johnny, because of you. So
okay. So back to you now. We're doing some back massaging here a little bit, which is well deserved. But I'll never forget. Would have been August, I believe it was, where we had our summer session graduation for PGA Hope. We had you out there because of this, or maybe it was September. Sorry. And we had over 100 people at this thing. Obviously, social distance outside. Glen Oak again. Timmy Freed, Steve Barkowski, big shout out there. Hosting all these great community endeavors and activities, but. I remember you came and we had a great night. We played out on the course. It was our graduation thing. It was a big ceremony. There was food. And I remember I get emotional even talking about it. Nicky Martin were here. He'd be crying again, I'm sure. But I remember you kind of sharing with the guys and I, the team and I, that you were going to be doing this pro bono. Originally it was going to be cost, which in itself was amazing. Like you're going to save us a ton of money, the margin, the spread, and you're this new company, right? And this would have been a huge opportunity for you, 100 polos, whatever, one of your biggest orders to date at the time or whatever it was. And I'll never forget that, it wasn't even after, because like you got to see how incredible the program is and all the really the enhancement, the impacting, but the saving of lives, truly 22 veterans a day, suicide, and seeing what you mentioned, therapy and golf. So anyway, it was before it even, so you had this premeditated. You were like, I'm doing this. This is what we're going to do. It's going to be totally at no cost to PGA Reach, PGA Hope, which was just fantastic. And so all the proceeds, or a good majority, high majority portion of proceeds of that shirt that you're wearing, which I also have somewhere around here in the Oz Cave, will be going directly towards PGA Reach, PGA Hope, to support veterans and allow for more programming to, again, have these life-saving activities that are happening. So huge gratitude to you. I know you're giving me some love on the power of osmosis, and I remember you saying that on the other pod, but it's people like you that make this world go around and make the community of Western New York and Buffalo, Niagara area as good as it really is. So major thanks to you, my friend. You're the best.
It's people that actually donate their time is more valuable for sure. Like, donating money in like these polos it's a lot easier to do, in my opinion, to do something like that. It's the least I can do. But people who are there donating their time, like that's the most, I think that's really where the value is. And those are the truly good people, because time is just our most valuable asset, really. So.
You hit on all the things I love, brother. It's the only thing we can't make more of, can't get back, can't buy. And so I agree. But right next to it though, right below it, maybe if there's a ranking, it's people like you that are allowing us to create the revenue then to support these programs, right? We can have volunteers all day long. But without these types of things, it's not possible. So, and that said, you will be getting some asks. So be ready for the winter session. I know we're doing some virtual stuff. There's a lot of really incredible things I've had you yourself and others from PGA Reach Hope, on the show. And, I'm excited to keep unpacking those details. And again, we were supposed to talk beforehand. I know I had some updates for you and Nikki Martone and Team FAST, which stands for Focusing on Always Strengthening Our Troops, Nikki's foundation that I'm now on the board of. That said, we'll have to do it offline and keep this thing rolling because, we've unpacked so much here. Maybe as a quick recap, whatever we are 20 minutes in, what we're seeing right now for all our millions of listeners and watchers, you're seeing an incredible human being, and not me, but the gentleman on my, whatever it is, left or right, Alex. These are the types of people that, again, like I said, they are the ones that make the world go round. And so again, we're talking community, we're talking golf, we're talking camaraderie, therapy, support. A lot of this too is rooted in growth mindset, as opposed to fixed mindset, which is to think we are always able to improve, to be better. And the way that you do that is by having conversations like this and partnering on things like this. So, and then lastly too, what was the other thing? The law of attraction, man. I mean, this is all law of attraction stuff here at university. You put good energy, and energy like yours comes out. And I'm talking way too much. I usually don't talk this much. So I want to flip it back. Yeah. And I even said to myself, let's keep it even keel. I've been chasing this clarity thing, this mantra that's really been great in terms of breathing and meditation. And I know, you're someone that you're a runner as well, which is a perfect segue then for me to shut up and get back to you, where the audience wants to hear from on, you mentioned golf. It's something you love. It's therapeutic. You're outdoors. You're grateful for it. But let's talk more about the running and some of that stuff that's going on, because that's part of this whole reach stuff that we've been talking about.
Yeah, we're on our last podcast, you, Steve, and Nick convinced me to join you guys for the marathon. The PGA Reach team will be running the Buffalo Marathon, 26.2 miles on May 30th. And yeah, it's the same thing as golf for me, except maybe even more. Running is way more because it's just me. And it's just like, I really started running 2 years ago. And during the pandemic, it's helped me tremendously, for sure. But so joining that team, as great as it is to join the team for the charity, I would have joined regardless of the charity. Not, of course that's awesome, but just to do it is something that I would have wanted to do regardless, just because of how much I enjoy it. And just personal achievement, I think that would be it'll be super cool. I've literally never ran a race before, ever. And my first one will be the marathon, a full marathon.
Yeah, you'll be going to the ultra world eventually, right? I think over 26.2 is considered an ultra. So your ceiling is going to be pretty high.
Yeah, I'll do a triathlon with you someday or something.
Yeah. We're just starting that whole journey out. But like everything else, growth mindset, man. So for you to be able to have the gumption and the courage to do that, like you said, one way or the other, but it goes to show again the leader that you are. Just
doing it, I guess it goes hand in hand with a lot of the stuff we've been talking about, and maybe that's kind of the growth mindset or the law of attraction or whatnot, but just kind of when you want to do something, I guess you just do it. And where, just start, right? And that's why running is super, I feel like running is a great analogy for it, because it's the simplest thing to do, literally the simplest thing. You just go run. How do you you start running, you just run, you start walking. It's the most fundamental movement of a human. So it's anyone can, the vast majority of people can just start doing it. And I guess it translates to everything else. Just want to start this company, just do it. Where do you start? Just start doing it. And it's it can all be. Yeah.
That's the hardest part, right? People that are on their own head, and I see it every day with conversations, friends, clients, whatever, things I listen to and read. Dude, again, stuff that are all organic here. I'm in the shower before this, getting juicy, getting ready to rock and roll my Verde thing. And I'm thinking about how life has unfolded for me these past 6 months with the start of Osmosis and people like you and so many other incredible people. And it's a Conor McGregor thing. And I'm a diehard Conor McGregor fan, not so much for the MMA, but for the way that he truly practices and employs the law of attraction. And there's a quote. Like I said, I'm an obsessive, which is very similar to him. And that's what is true with all the greats, and I know for certain you are that way as well, in so many different areas. And that's why you're so good at what you do. And the point is, he is his quote. He says, it's pretty simple, right? Say what you're going to say. I'm sorry, Jesus, I'll be all right. Let me step back. What the heck does he say now? I'm getting tongue tied. He says, say what you're going to do and go and do it. Quote. Literally, it's a quote. You can look that up. Conor McGregor. Say what you're going to do and go and do it. It's easy as that.
Yeah.
And so I don't mean to simplify, because there's a lot, right? There's things that have been documented in my life, and I know there's things that we share in common. But even just like with the mind and the body, and there's things you have to overcome. But it's that little day by day of keep going, even if it's just incrementally better over the course of a long period of time. You can find this. Did I ever think when we first met back in June 2019 that we'd be sitting here doing this? No, but we've kept in touch. We got a lot of similar ideas and passions, and we were able to optimize and figure out ways to work together, work off each other, and then create synergy and value for others and ourselves along the way. And so little by little, here we are on a podcast, wearing these sick t-shirts, these polos, and doing the incredible things that we're doing. And anyway, so thanks for bringing that out, because that's hugely important.
No problem.
Hugely important. All right, let's talk about plans for Verde and
Sure.
So we'll start. You're not supposed to ask 2-part questions. It's pretty easy. So what's the next 6 to 12 months look like for Verde, and how can we find your products to purchase?
So next 6 to 12 months. Verde has. I'm pretty transparent person, so I'll share this. But so Verde's slowed down significantly because Arbeit took a huge revenue loss because of the pandemic. So I wouldn't be fair to the Arbeit team for me to focus on Verde. So I've shifted my focus away from Verde to Arbeit significantly. And but the plan for the next 6 to 12 months is once spring gets around, is to start working with Verde again. And ideally, there's some things that I've talked to Steve about getting, doing custom designs for like this for country clubs. And I think that would be something that would be awesome. And hopefully we get some new designs out for the Verde polos in general. But yeah, I mean, my goals, I don't have a long-term plan for Verde right now. So it's just kind of taking it day by day and just
as we said, right? Just like we said right there.
Yeah.
But you want to sell through all your inventory, right? So you got shirts like these, incredible golf shirt, incredibly comfortable, really nifty, such a head turner, dude. I mean, how many times that's all I ever wore in tournaments was, we had tournaments that you were kind enough to sponsor, and you had me along as an ambassador, which was friggin' awesome. But I mean, I can't say how many times. I remember Uncle Joe and I would be joking. Like he had the zebra one on, he had the tropical one, and the palm tree one, I should say, and this one. And it's like, well, how many compliments, how many inquiries did we get? Who's winning? Uncle Joe 10 and I'm at 6. Come on, man. Like I should have wore the other one. But they're head turners. They're comfortable, and there's a social mission behind it. More so maybe for the Hope one, but again, you're a company that is looking to give back. And again, it's a perfect example of 100 polos, man. This is out of your own money, Verde's revenues, that your brand new company doing that. So it's an easy cause, because everything now is double bottom line, triple bottom line. This is an easy cause to support, especially for the local folks. So you sell through the inventory now, and there's like what, six designs for polos and three t-shirts.
Yeah. I forgot about the t-shirts completely, honestly. Those are just there. That's something that I probably wouldn't have done if I went back to the start of Verde, is make t-shirts. I would have made different ones at least.
Love that candor.
Yeah. But yeah, selling through the polos that we have now would be awesome. And then getting on like a schedule, new design schedule of quarterly would be something that I would, I've thought about having, launching new polo designs, and maybe in more limited quantities than we have currently. And just kind of like constantly like just coming up with new fresh designs.
The hoodies,
stuff like that would be
with
cool.
Your cousins.
Yeah. And then ideally doing more work like this, polo, for either other charities or just other businesses in general. I think would be something that would be looking forward to, because the PGA Hope is, I had numerous businesses talk to us about designing, just businesses in general, just designing them custom apparel. But it wasn't something that I was really set up to do. A lot of like right now, brand new company, anyone familiar with like apparel, there's like minimum order quantities, right? So like, there was a handful of companies that had like 30 to 50 people that wanted us to make them custom polos for, like, one of them wanted it for their sales team. The other wanted it for like their whole organization.
What about the softball team? Totally blanked on that too.
Softball team, Steve's softball
Executive
team.
Director.
So, yeah. So that's something that I would like to get better at as a company, is being able to accommodate these orders. And maybe it's funny because you look like maybe Verde evolves to an extent, because I start to realize there's other areas that fit that same concept of like why I like Verde. Running is another example, where I've considered, and Steve asked if I would make the running apparel for our team, but I wasn't able to accommodate because it was, I wouldn't have been fair of me to try and do it and then not come through with it. So, but maybe Verde evolves into other areas, not just golf is something like that I've even thought about. But yeah, so who knows?
Well, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Lightning round responses. And speaking of lightning round, we've talked about this. Wasn't in the position myself at the time, but OZmosis, wherever this, I got my OZmosis, thing on, I got shirts, whatever, that friends of Stevie Colton, making me t-shirts, but, definitely OZmosis polos. I remember doing some seeding and questioning, I should say, of folks, polling is the better word. And they're like, yeah, the point is get some OZmosis ones, but, even on-air concepting here, planning potential, right? Hey, the polos you got now, however many quantity of each version you've got, and the tees, obviously, let's contact, again, I'm just concepting here, but let's think about maybe there's companies locally, not-for-profits or businesses that are doing great works that we can connect to and say, hey, listen, we have these polos. Here's the social mission behind what we're doing. Here's a good use case for PGA Hope and what we're going to do for veterans. And just, again, like the other pillars that are being positively impacted. But hey, maybe we call XYZ company this watermelon one, whether we can find relevance and connection or not, it doesn't matter. It's golf. It's cool. Golf is trendy as all heck. And it's been growing like no tomorrow because of COVID. Maybe we do something like that, where there's that extra charge, that supercharge. And I'm happy to help that. You've got a great network. A ton of people. I can already think about 5-10 off the top of my head. Hey, Alex, John, me, whoever else, let's talk about how we can give you a portion of sales from this polo. And that's going to then incentivize people all the more to support. So again, on-air concepting, but just something I thought about, got me extra juicy about it. So I'm loving what you're saying, though, the plans and the ideas. And dude, there's so many ways we can take this. I mean, we've already said it, and it will, so long as there's that time, desire, effort behind it. And like anything else, right? You're going to go all in on something or not at all. And totally understand and appreciate you being transparent and, again, authentic and candid about what's going on. And, with Arbeit, and that totally makes sense as a good leader to do that. So, wow, I can talk, and I am juicy right now. This is sick, dude. You're the man. You're the man. Appreciate this.
That was that was fun. That was a good episode. Do you have anything else that you wanted me to cover?
So Verde.golf, not .com, but .golf is the website, which is neat.
Golf.
I love that. Too.
.com was taken.
Good. We don't want it. We want .golf, baby. Now, just one really quickly, without getting me too juiced up and getting you juicy, the name, how to come about. It sounds really slick, really chic. Verde, like green in Spanish.
Green in Spanish. I was just looking for a golf term to make. I felt like it would be, have a quirky little golf term. So there was there's obviously a lot of little quirky golf terms. Birdie, albatross, eagle, right? Like there's so many. A lot of them are taken though, because it's, of course, right? Like birdie, that's every golf there's so many golf companies with that in it. So yeah, just Verde. It kind of, I felt like it went with the vibe. And yeah, so just kind of picked it because it's green in Spanish, golf green, golf term. There you go.
Love that. So Verde.golf, got some great plans ahead, maybe even some potential things I just unearthed here. to our, again, scores of followers and listeners, et cetera, as to what we might be doing in 2021. And I am the official hype man. Your title,
Verde.
Your title, not mine. I go by brand champion ambassador too. So people can obviously contact me on LinkedIn, Johnny Osmosis. You got Alex Villafranca here. We'll put up the contact info, put up the links in the YouTube, but also all the other audio only platforms. So you can find Alex and his companies and the great things he's doing. There is a press release as well that came out months ago about the shirt you're wearing. So again, people that want to find out more about all the things we unpacked today, again, with the underscore of community, of passion, of, again, that vision, that seeing things through, that leadership, the quality leadership, and just the camaraderie and friendship that's come out of all these incredible things. It sincerely is like a dream. It really is. I mean, this is just, so I just want to throw some shout outs. And if I forget anyone, or if you wanted to shout anybody out, I'll let you start. And then I was just going to throw some quick shout outs again.
Oh God. I have no idea.
See how many you can come up with. Who do we talk about? Who deserves a shout out?
Steve and Nick, that, for sure. Like Steve, Nick Martone, Steve Barkowski. Yeah. Those would be my two for sure. I mean, I appreciate it. The obvious, like Nick's went ahead and was a model for me. He's just inspiring person to be around. It just is that type of energy. When you're around that guy, you just kind of get in a better mood. And then Steve, with obviously doing this collab with us, being the decision maker on that, and then, wanting to help do other stuff with Verde in the future. So, yeah.
Love that. And to add to that, because those are great shout outs. I mentioned Mark Duggan, incredible photographer, videographer. He was out there on the course getting some of that incredible content. Again, if you do nothing else besides, this is to the followers and listeners, then just check out Verde.golf. You'll see some really cool content, some cool videos, all captured by the man himself. And I know he's going to get extra juice by this. So I'm going to make sure I tag him in our caption and in the details. But Mark Duggan here in Buffalo, just a great man, great community leader as well. Glenn Oak for hosting us at that podcast. Timmy Freeze, all-time PGA, just legend. And there's so many others. Stevie Cole made a cameo here via phone, who's been a supporter of PGA Hope Reach, of you, obviously, some of the things that we may have talked about that could come out this year, maybe. Encore Golf, you see the mug in the back there. And there's so many. I mean, there's just so many. So I don't want to go too juicy here, but big shout outs to all those individuals, those folks. And then obviously the courses that are going to be have been selling the polo that you are wearing there. So stay tuned, listeners, followers. Appreciate, again, your time, AV and OZ here on the Power of Osmosis podcast. You are an incredible man. You're an inspiration, as someone that, people love to say, John, how do you stay inspired? How do you stay motivated? You're always so juiced up, so stoked. It's people like you, Alex, that sincerely do that. So my gratitude to you. I get emotional even here again, but I'll spare any more chats and any more rants. And again, big thanks, shout out to Vidwheel Creator Network, my partners here, all this video, audio, all this podcast support, and the content creation wouldn't be possible without them. We got some really cool things going with Vidwheel here in Buffalo, but they basically have a podcast in a suitcase, a podcast kit, all the tech and everything, the software, hardware support. So big shout out there. Neil Carroll and team, he's the best. And Neil, he's a big supporter of community and of course of me. So big shout out there. And then just everyone else, thanks for tuning in. And, please follow through on checking out some of the stuff Alex is doing, both Arbeit and Verde, of course, two really cool companies. And we didn't even talk much about Arbeit. We'll have to do a separate one on the great things. Yes, you took a hit, but you kept everyone employed. You're just, again, the freaking picture of a good leader. And so that's the biggest takeaway today. So my gratitude, my thanks for your time, put up with my energy. You're the best.
Thanks.
All right, brother. Until next time. Yeah. Until next time, this is Johnny Osmosis down in the Oz Cave. Keep going.